The idea behind America has always been that regardless of your ethnicity, religion, and personal beliefs, you'll always be accepted. As long as you have that certificate of birth in our country, you are American. But what happens when someone has an American father and a German mother, born on a military base in Germany, but never learns the English language? Is that person German because he never lived in America and learned the language of our country? Or is he American because he has American citizenship from his father? Well, in the United States men's national soccer team, that is an issue that is making headlines as the World Cup for this summer makes its arrival. Should a soccer player that has never lived in America be allowed to represent the United States in the World Cup? This is an issue that has the soccer community in our country debating. Some believe you must have been raised in America and trained through the U.S. Soccer Federation training program. Others believe that as long as you have American citizenship, you should be allowed to play for the United States, regardless if you can speak English or not. Many fans believe that these dual nationals choose to play for the United States because they aren't good enough for their birth countries. Here is what soccer expert and ESPN analyst Alexi Lawless said about the issue on his radio show, Big Head Redhead.
It's taken me 30 minutes to wait to bring up Julian Green.
Yes,
Julian Green. Let's talk about Julian Green. I brought him up because, he and Ian did that one-time switch to the United States. Alexi, you want to take Julian Green, get us off rolling on...
Well, I think everybody knows that Julian Green, he applied for his one-time switch. It happened. He is here in Phoenix. We're going to see him play against Mexico, as we should. If you get this golden ticket, you got to make sure that you earn it, and this is his first opportunity. He just doesn't have to play well. He has to play really well because, look, I don't care what language you speak. I don't care where you were born. All I care about is that you're better than what the U.S. team already has. And you feel something more than just the opportunity to go to a World Cup. It's the opportunity to go to the World Cup to play for the U.S. And if you don't feel that, then there's a problem. We're all going to be watching Julian Green when he steps on the field. He might start. He might come on as a substitute. But when he does, despite his inexperience in his youth...
to be immediate. Like, he has to play better than their option immediately.
Absolutely. He's got to show something in this game against Mexico where people say, we haven't seen that.
If he doesn't, is there a problem in the team?
Yeah.
In the team, not just the media, but if he doesn't, he comes out and he's ordinary, he's overwhelmed.
He's
underwhelming.
Bob, I think if anyone says no, I think they're very naive or they're lying.
Right.
Because immediately, when I showed up here in Phoenix and you see some of these guys that I either played with or know, and you can feel the anxiety, they are looking at me. They want to talk about it.
That's a charity.
Because they're all the
That could
guys
be my
that
charity.
made 10, 11, 12 flights in the World Cup qualifiers. And Alexi, you've been there. You've seen it. David Regie came in. Yeah, it was weird. Now, also, John Hart's not going to the World Cup. All played a part of that. If any player right now says Julian Green going to the World Cup doesn't hurt chemistry or isn't an issue, they're lying.
And it is fair to judge him immediately.
I'm not sure
Despite his
I'm not
age,
sure
yes,
about
it is.
that.
No, don't come. Don't take that bullshit close to wait till after the World Cup and then you're going to run
Well,
him.
maybe that's what we'll find out. The kid's played for 2 minutes for Bayern Munich. He's got a huge amount of ability, we are told. The track is nobody's seen him yet. Let's see what he's got. I think it's asking a heck of a lot for him to come in and suddenly be a superstar for the USA in the 3 or 4 matches we've got left before the World Cup. He definitely is one for the future. I think what he's got to prove between now and June is he is worth a place in that 23 on merit.
In that interview, Alexi Lawless is talking about Julian Green, another dual national from Germany that made headlines for being one of the best young players in the world who just happens to play for the best team in the world in Bayern Munich. And he switched his allegiance from Germany to the United States for the opportunity to play in the World Cup. In the last year, there have been 6 German Americans who have played for the USA who were not born in America. It doesn't stop there. The USA has also been able to convince Aron Johansson to play for the USA instead of Iceland, Mikkel Diskerud to play for the United States instead of Norway, and Juan Agudelo to play for the USA instead of Colombia. Not to mention there's also 15 players with Mexican-American heritage as well. But last year, there was an article in the New York Times that quoted unidentified players that were full American that said there was a divide in the locker room between the dual national players that didn't speak much English and the full Americans that have been teammates their whole lives. If you follow any soccer, you'd understand the importance of the issue. Locker room chemistry is very important for a soccer team. I understand the importance of being able to speak the same language as your teammates so that you can be on the same page and you can create chemistry together. But if you have American citizenship, you should be allowed to play for the USA regardless of if you could speak English or not, because you have that right. I believe it will be interesting this summer when the USA plays Germany in the World Cup, because prior to each game, the national anthems of both countries are played. I'd like to see the reactions of our German American players because I agree with Alexi Lawless. When you hear the United States national anthem, it should mean something more to you, and it should mean something to represent the USA at that level. It doesn't matter, though, if you don't speak English, but what does matter is to have an emotional connection to play for the country that you're representing.